Mr. Whitetail loves big antlers, and some of the most unique and beautiful are produced by red stags, particularly the red stags down under in the mystical lands of the South Island in New Zealand.
One of my favorite game animals in the world is the red stag. And when you think of red stag, you automatically think of New Zealand.
Adventure awaits Larry. He's hunted New Zealand's regal red stag before and is excited to be back. But this time there may be even more excitement than expected.
Larry, the stag's getting up, mate. He's looking up with the bushes are.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting scrape. Get ready, mate. Get ready.
Everywhere. Got to be the biggest deer I've ever killed. Now, Christchurch, if you'll remember, about 6 weeks before my arrival, had a really bad earthquake. So I was very concerned about how things might be.
Well, Miss Vanessa, I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. It is absolutely beautiful. The temperature, I stepped off the plane and got out. I mean, it's like our fall. So, I mean, and obviously it's y'all's fall right now.
It certainly is, and it's going to get better than this.
Oh, we heard so much about Christchurch being hit by the earthquake.
Mm-hmm. It's been quite a serious issue in the center of the city, and we'll head that way now and have a wee look at some of the destruction.
Yes, ma'am.
When we had the big one hit, we were like, gosh, you know, we just are not set up for it. The engineering side of our buildings are not designed for the earthquakes because we just don't have them. I think to date we've had well over 6,000 earthquakes and tremors since September. And they're just continuing, and a lot of the city's on edge right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, we heard about it, and of course, our first thoughts were, you know, how are Shane and Miss Vanessa, and I got an email back from y'all saying we're okay here, so.
We're very fortunate just because of the location where we are, just that little bit out of the city.
Good, good. Well, our hearts certainly, prayers and feelings and everything certainly went out to all the people in New Zealand involved in that earthquake.
Thank you.
What really made me feel good about everything being there is the spirit of the people. I mean, it's just one of those things that they kind of looked at and says, well, we got to live with it, we've lived through it, now we move forward. We drove about 2 hours out of Christchurch. Absolutely gorgeous area to drive through to get to the Terrace Downs.
Base camp for Shane and Vanessa Johnson's 4-season safaris is the fabulous Terrace Down, and is not your ordinary hunting camp. Amenities abound.
You know, I had looked at some of the ratings in outfittersrating.com dealing with the facilities and the food. Oh my gosh, unbelievable food. I mean, to be very frank with you, it was a surprise to me what an absolutely fabulous place Terrace Downs is. The grounds are unbelievable. I mean, they offer all kinds of opportunities. It is the top club, if you will, in all of New Zealand. Fabulous, fabulous place. I mean, like a 5-star lodge, but more like a 10-star lodge.
Right from Terrace Downs Resort, which is where we are based and where we accommodate our hunters and non-hunters. One of our main trophy hunting areas is only 10 minutes from here. In fact, that mountain that you can possibly see behind us there is where we do our red stag, our fallow, our chamois, and the tara in the mountains behind that. I've been trying to get Larry to hunt with us probably the last 3 or 4 years.
Hello, Shane.
Here you go, mate.
How are you, sir?
Good, mate. It's good to see you.
Good to be here.
Hey, welcome to New Zealand, mate.
Well, thank you so very much.
He's an icon in America. He's an icon amongst trophy hunters, and to boot with that, he's a fine gentleman.
After getting all set up at the Quickenberry guest house, Shane suggested, let's go shoot the rifles. He said they ought to still be shooting just about where they ought to, but you know, anytime you go somewhere and travel, you always want to check.
Well, we might as well go and shoot in the rifle, mate.
I agree. Let's go do that. I'll make sure that thing's shooting where it's supposed to be. And hopefully it'll take one shot and Go. Okay, that's it. Took the rifles to a little shooting range outside of the compound. Tell you what, the cows like us down here. I think they're already rooting for us, by God.
Shoot when ready.
I'll tell you what, if you use good optics such as the Zeiss and good ammunition like Hornady and, of course, the Ruger rifles, it's amazing. I mean, they were still shooting exactly where they had been when I left several thousands of miles back.
I always like to make sure that 2 guns and 2 boxes of ammo, that we're putting the right ammo in the right gun. It'd be a terrible mistake, wouldn't it?
It was an absolutely beautiful day. I mean, the kind of day that you dream about, just slightly cool, and we still had a little bit of time left, so Shane suggested, he says, you know what, mate? He says, I think we should go down to the river.
A Hunter's Life is brought to you by OutfittersRating.com. Trust, but verify. Dallas Safari Club, preserving hunters' rights, conserving wildlife, and promoting outdoor education. Ruger, rugged, reliable firearms. Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable. Carl Zeiss Sport Optics. Zeiss, we make it visible.
OutfittersRating.com will change the way you look at outfitters and charters. Outfitters, if you do what you say you do and run a quality business, it's a no-brainer. It's free, it's quick, and it's simple. Hunters and fishermen, now you have the resources to verify you get what you pay for. All you have to do is visit the outfitter testimonials on the site, and you'll understand why you want to be here.
OutfittersRating.com. Trust, but verify.
Ruger M77 Hawkeye bolt-action rifles are designed to be instant classics. Built with versatility, style, and performance in mind, these rifles meet the challenges of hunters in North America and throughout the world. Hawkeye rifles feature slim ergonomics, an LC6 trigger for crisp performance right out of the box, a non-rotating Mauser-type controlled round feed extractor, integral scope mounts, a 3-position safety, a hammer-forged barrel, and a hinged solid steel floor plate for easy unloading. Learn more about the Ruger M77 Hawkeye rifle at Ruger.com/Hawkeye.
The Dallas Safari Club is a great organization that really walks the walk in fulfilling their mission statement. DSC has given over $2.2 million over the last 4 years to fund conservation projects, to fund their outdoor education program, and to finance advocacy efforts to help protect your rights as a hunter and an outdoors person.
Wildlife needs dedicated people like you to make a commitment to our future.
And I bet you thought all Larry ever thought about or talked about was hunting. New Zealand offers many different sorts of outdoor adventures.
Depending on how people are feeling and how much daylight we've got left, we can either do a half-day fishing or a bit of jet boating, or even go up to the hunting area and do a bit of an evening scout to get you all fired up for that next day of actually really getting into doing some serious hunting.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's tough, isn't it? Eh?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to have several days. What do you think about the jet boat? You think that'd be a good idea?
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a pretty afternoon. It's not raining, it's not foggy. So Shane and I went down to the Rakaya River, big deep gorge right there where we were, water that is unbelievable. It looks like the deep blue sea, if you will.
Have you been on a jet boat before?
I have never been on a jet boat before.
Well, this is going to be quite exciting for you, mate.
I mean, you talk about an absolute blast out there. You're just kind of skimming along the top of the water. You're looking at countryside on either side. Some places big, tall bluffs, other broad open areas, fast running water, rapids.
This is our stag hunting area.
That area?
One of our stag hunting areas. That the whole place along there, all those little reels, all those little ravines in there.
Oh my goodness. Just about the time you think you've had a good experience about being on the river, he'll do a 360, and I mean, it is an absolute blast spending time on that river.
While Larry's not a golfer, and he seldom gets to do any fishing, even though he enjoys it, he does appreciate the opportunity to learn about the area he's hunting, even if it means riding the river.
Fabulous way to spend that afternoon.
There were no game animals in New Zealand when European settlers arrived. During the early 1900s, red deer, chamois, tahr, and other big game animals were introduced. These species flourished to the point where they were commercially hunted for hide and venison and nearly wiped out. Thankfully today, New Zealand's red deer provide the finest red stag hunting in the world.
One of my favorite game animals in the world is the red stag. And when you think of red stag, you automatically think of New Zealand. New Zealand is the best place in the world to come hunt red stag as far as I'm concerned. When I got ready to come back to New Zealand and really started thinking about the hunt, I went to outfittersrating.com and ran through the checklist there of the people that outfitted, and ran across one of them whose name I was very familiar with, and that was Four Seasons Safaris. And I thought, man, this is an ideal place to go. I love what they're saying about it.
It's exciting stuff, mate. It's fun. It is, mate. And then the stag roaring like anything.
The roar, which is really the kind of rut when the stags are just roar, I mean making noise like crazy. Totally different from our elk, even though they're somewhat similar. The elk's got that real high-pitched sound, and you talk to the New Zealanders and some of the other places, and they tell you that the stag has a very manly, a very masculine sound. And I knew that March was an ideal time to be in New Zealand when it came to the roar. The rut's just beginning that time. The tail end of March is ideal because that's really when the rut's getting started. And those stags are roaring pretty much all day long. And I mean, it just sends chills up and down my spine. So that's really one of the reasons that I wanted to come to hunt with Shane and Vanessa here on the South Island right at the tail end of March when that roar was going full blast and going strong.
Looks like Larry's gonna have a wide selection of red stags to choose from. Wide, many points, massive.
Do you want to know you're getting what you paid for? Or are you okay with getting whatever you get? Outfittersrating.com is making that difference. There's no arguing this program is necessary. We need it. These outfitters have nothing to hide, and they're laying it all on the table. Outfitters, if you're real and honest, there is no reason not to be in the program. Join us and make a difference. Outfitters Rating, trust but verify.
The roar is in full swing, and the hills are alive with sounds of wild stag music. Time for a move?
The following morning I greeted Larry at his accommodation, and he was all ready to go. So because of what the weather was doing, we suggested that we should head down south to our other hunting area, Straven, which is a couple of hours drive from the resort.
Got into Straven, absolutely gorgeous chunk of country. The weather started rolling in like crazy. I mean, clouds started rolling in, the wind started picking up to 30, 40 miles an hour, and then it started raining.
Once we got there, different terrain, different scenery, great stag hunting, fallow deer, chamois, and wallabies. This is in the range of the hills called the Hunter's Hills, aptly named because of the animals that inhabit here.
We had an open Polaris that we needed to take all the way back, that's 6 or 8 miles back into the to where this cabin was that we were going to spend a couple of days hunting at. White-tailed deer?
That's a white-tailed doe, Larry.
I'll be darned.
Yep. You'd be very familiar with what they look like, I'm sure.
I was going to say, it kind of looked like a white-tail, but, you know, in the times I've been in New Zealand, that's the first one I've ever seen.
We call them the Virginia deer.
Virginia deer.
Yeah, that's where they've come from.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably very appropriate. Their scientific name is Odocoileus virginianus, and that's where they were first described.
That's right, mate. Yeah. Well, you're reputed as knowing something a bit about them, aren't you, Larry?
I've forgotten a lot about them, but I've learned a few things over the years, too. Interesting. I can't believe it. Finally topped to the crest of this little valley that we could see real high up in the mountains. Here's this little cabin nestled right at the head of a canyon. Off to the side of it is this waterfall, and I mean, you can hear it off in the distance, and here was home sweet home for a couple of days. Got a fire going and kicked back and relaxed a little bit there in front of the fire and enjoyed the evening. Waked up the next morning and it was an unbelievably beautiful day.
Are you ready to go, Larry?
Yeah, finally. I'll tell you what, after getting in here last night with all the rain and finally getting our clothes dry, and then this absolutely gorgeous morning. It's been hard not to just sit there and watch the sun come up and raise up.
I'll tell you what, mate, and a nice, with that front going through, it's really cool things down there, and that really gets the stags roaring. This is what they're going to do, mate. That's what we're looking for, buddy.
You better not look like that one right there, because if you are, you're going to be in serious trouble.
We position ourselves up on the ridge lines first thing in the morning and do a lot of glassing. And this is how we're actually spotting the animals from afar. And then we actually start critiquing each particular animal. So after glassing lots of different stags, the great thing about stag hunting is there's no two stags that are the same. And after discussing a lot of different animals with Larry, he really had his heart set on something big and heavy.
Larry and Shane have been looking for a monstrous stag, but now maybe it's time for a small diversion. Wallabies.
They're considered vermin because of all the vegetation that they eat. It takes it away from the native vegetation.
They were brought over from Australia for their skins, for their pelts. And because we have no predators in New Zealand, they've just done very, very well.
And so now they're trying to get rid of them as much as they can, particularly here in New Zealand. They're fine in Australia where they belong. They don't belong here in New Zealand.
A lot of people actually ask why they haven't spread because there's so many in the Hunters Hills here. It's mainly the fact that they can't swim. And there's two main rivers, that north and south of this range of hills.
Is that generally where you find the wallabies, is on these hillsides like this?
It is, mate, exactly, yeah. And obviously during the day they'll go into the scrub and into the timber.
Yes.
And that's where they'll bed down for the day. And then obviously in the morning and in the evenings they come out.
They come back out.
And then out in the evenings, Larry, you'll see them way out in the opens, up like this
Really?
here. Yeah, this is when we pick them up with spotlights.
Okay.
At night time. And we're going to have a good look-see anyway, see if we can't wake a couple of wallabies.
That'd be perfect. Like I said, I've seen them now, but I never have shot one. But
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun. Whoa.
Seem like they're nicey. Oh, there's a dead wallaby. Good on you, Lee, you got your first wallaby, mate. You wallaby whacker, you.
That is fun.
The fun continues after dark. Wallaby control. Necessary, but also fun.
God, there's a wallaby over there just asking to be shot.
No.
Having honed his down-under shooting skills on wallabies to help reduce their detrimental effect on the habitat, Larry and Shane are going back to hunting stags. A Hunter's Life is brought to you by OutfittersRating.com. Trust, but verify. Bog Pod, the sticks with red grips. Swacker, broadheads that open so fast you can hear the swack. Khmer deer, the revolutionary deer attractant.
OutfittersRating.com will change the way you look at outfitters and charters. Outfitters, if you do what you say you do and run a quality business, it's a no-brainer. It's free, it's quick, and it's simple. Hunters and fishermen, now you have the resources to verify you get what you pay for. All you have to do is visit the outfitter testimonials on the site and you'll understand why you want to be here.
OutfittersRating.com. Trust, but verify.
The most advanced ammunition in the world. Superformance from Hornady. Up to 200 feet per second faster than any conventional ammunition. Flatter trajectories and more downrange energy from every rifle. Superior accuracy with no increase in felt recoil. Superformance ammunition from Hornady. It is rocket science.
There's an archery revolution. Bows are getting faster and faster, but with your broadhead, what you cut is what you get. The Swacker broadhead is the answer to the faster bows. It flies like a field point and expands to give you a giant cut. And with the unique design of the Swacker, you can take quartering shots. To prove this, we've set up a piece of plywood at an extreme angle. As you can see, the arrow flies right through the wood with no deflection. You gotta try a Swacker. Look for them at your favorite retailer.
No doubt Larry's primed and ready to find the red stag he's long been dreaming of. A new day dawns, and New Zealand's green hills beckon. Will this be the day?
So Larry and I proceeded up there first thing in the morning, and as the sun hit the high faces, yeah, sure enough, those stags were running like crazy. Okay, Larry, so we're out of sight of him now. So we can't see him.
Shane, he's got everything. I mean, he's really massive. Those fronts come up like this, and that third point comes out way like this. And then he's palmated up on top,
yeah. Well, as we've seen yesterday, Larry, you know, every stag that we've seen last night, there's no two that are the same.
No.
We stand on the ridgeline, then hopefully our scent will keep away from him. And it may be quite a quick shot, you know, we might have to peer over, and if he's there, we might have to take it, you know. Okay. So why don't you put a bullet in your breech now.
How's it? I'm ready. You ready for this? He may be up. Let's go. I can see his antlers.
Hey Larry, we can go down behind us here. It's a little bit of a terrace, mate, and you can see his whole body. Can you see him walk from there, Larry?
Yes, sir.
Can you?
Yes, sir. If he stands up, I'll have a good shot at him.
We just got to play the waiting game now, mate.
I can't believe it. He's been down for about 2 hours. If he wasn't such a big stag, I mean, he's got a little bit of everything. He's got mass. He gets more massive as he goes up. He's got all kinds of points. He's wide. He's palmate up on top. You know, if he wasn't quite that good, or wasn't nearly as good as what he is, we'd be looking for another stag. But he's such a big stag. We just got to stay here and wait for him to get up.
Hey Larry, the stag's getting up, mate.
Getting up.
He's looking up where the bushes are.
Oh yeah,
getting scraped.
Okay, I want to start getting up.
Get ready, mate.
Get ready.
Give him another one, Larry.
I will.
He's down. He's down, buddy. Well done. Well done. Good on you, mate.
That is a big stag.
Congratulations, mate. That is so awesome.
You don't make this easy.
And he was down for the count. And I was so unbelievable. I could, you know, it's one of those things. I wanted to fly to this animal. I wanted to just snap my fingers and be there at his side. I dearly love big red stags, and this thing I know is by far the biggest red stag I've ever had an opportunity to even have the opportunity to hunt. Phenomenal. I don't know what else to say. I mean, unbelievable mass, long time. I mean, I dreamed of a big stag, but I don't think my dreams were quite this big. By that time, it is just all but dark, and we get everything pretty much taken care of, and Shane says, okay, mate, he says, you got to pack this stag out. The feeling that I had at that moment is really kind of brings everything together. The country that you hunt in, the people that you deal with, the animals that you hunt, the products that you use. I mean, it all kind of culminates into really what I consider to be the hunter's life.
Looks like Larry made the right outfittersrating.com decision once again.